Welcome back to another Blacktastic episode of the People Before Politics show, Sunday Rundown, powered by Black Westchester Magazine. I'm your host, Damon K. Jones, joined by my brother, A.J. Woodson, and bringing that fresh perspective, Larnaz Kinsey. Every Sunday, we pull back the curtain on the issues shaping our families, our cities, and our future, from health and safety to policy and power. It's because our mission is simple. Put the people first, not the politics. It's going to be Blacktastic. Are you ready to put your brand in front of the people who matter? Black Westchester Magazine is your platform. With over 90,000 monthly website readers and more than 250,000 YouTube viewers every month, we give your business unmatched exposure. From email blasts straight to our subscribers, to video commercials, website promotions, and targeted campaigns, we've got the tools to help you connect, engage, and grow. Whether you're a local business, a national brand, a rising entrepreneur, or just promoting an upcoming event, Black Westchester is where culture, community, and commerce meet. Contact us today or scan the QR code and start building with us. Don't just advertise, be part of the movement, be part of Black Westchester, be Blacktastic. If you've been thinking about investing but didn't know where to start, this is your sign. Presented by Black Westchester Magazine and Noir Network, the Ownership Society is a community of like-minded people focused on building generational wealth 1 month at a time. No hype, no gambling, just disciplined investing, shared learning, and real ownership. Whether you start with $20 or $100, the key is consistency. Scan the QR code or click the link in the conversation to join us, download Robinhood, and take your first step toward owning your future. This Valentine's Day, make it sweet with Cupcake Cutie Boutique. They're serving fresh, hand-dipped chocolate-covered strawberries, perfect for date night, gifts, or a treat for yourself. For a limited time, order through DoorDash, Uber Eats, or Grubhub, and get 20% off our chocolate-covered strawberries. Love should taste this good. But don't wait, this Valentine's Day deal won't last long. On Wednesday, January 28th, at Mount Vernon, New York City Hall, law enforcement and the community are coming together at Mount Vernon City Hall to stand with Officer Derek Williams, a 19-year police veteran battling kidney failure after contracting COVID while protecting the city. A press conference begins at 6:30 p.m., followed by the city council meeting at 7 p.m. Join us to demand that Mount Vernon follow state and federal laws protecting officers who contracted COVID-19 during the pandemic. Call 914-665-2300 to sign up to speak, in person or via Zoom. Silence protects failure. President demands accountability.
Peace and blessings. Peace and blessings.
Yeah. Welcome to Black Westchester Presents the People Before Politics radio show. I am A.J. Woodson, my partner in crime, Damon K. Jones, and our sister from another Mr., Larnaz Kinsey, in the house.
Hey, Westchester.
So first off, I wanted to give a shout out first. Before I hear about it later. Shout out to our sister Lorraine Lopez, who's about to they're doing a domestic violence awareness forum at Macedonia, January 23rd in a couple of days, and she's one of the panelists along with Reverend Andre Coleman and a couple of others. So the flyers on our social media, but I wanted to shout out our sister. She's doing good things up there in Yonkers. You know what I'm saying? So I wanted to keep her, give her props.
Lorraine.
So we got a couple of guests coming on. I'm waiting for the second one to chime in. Dr. Robert Baswell and Harold McCoy, they're going to be talking about the project they're working on for John E. Bruce, and they'll tell you all about that. But first we want to kick things off with, so Damon, I used to say, 90% of all the writing in Black Westchester, because Damon was working triple doubles at the county jail, and I couldn't get him to write nothing. You know what I'm saying? Now he's doing a lot of writing, and And Sister Lanez, she be hit me with, yo, Damon, it'd be like 4 or 5, it'd be like machine gun shot. Bam, 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 bam. Like the articles be popping up in my inbox. Like, yo, she's like, yo, you got the 3. Did you get the other 2? I was like, oh, there's 2 more? Like, yo, so one of the articles she did was on a recent event, brick by brick by brick by brick by brick, we be holding on. No, sorry. So brick by brick is a civil rights story, and they had a screening, and I'm gonna let the sister kick it off and tell us all about that. And also you can see it on blackwestchester.com.
So Thursday night, if you read the article, you know I went to the Riverfront Library thinking I was going to just a film screening. And yeah, it was not just a film screening. It was one of those rooms where you could feel that everybody knew this wasn't just about the past, it was about the right now. They screened Brick by Brick, which was a documentary about Yonkers' fight over housing and school desegregation from the 1970s through the 1990s. It was sponsored by Westchester County Human Rights Commission and the NAACP Yonkers branch. And the thing that stood out immediately was nobody in that room was treating this like history. I remember thinking if you walked in expecting a tidy ending to a civil rights story, you were in the wrong room. What it felt like instead was a mirror. Keisha Skipper, who is the president of the Yonkers NAACP, really grounded the night. She made it clear that the Yonkers NAACP wasn't adjacent to this history. It was in it. And the film actually featured Winston Ross, who was a pioneer president for the Yonkers NAACP in the 70s. That lineage matters. Majority Leader Andrea Stewart Cousins was there, and she actually reinforced that point. She talked about how the work of the Yonkers NAACP hasn't stopped. It evolved, and how the legacy is continuing under Keisha's leadership. Then Gene Capello spoke, and the room got quiet. He asked one question: what's more important than where you live? Because where you live decides access, schools, safety, opportunity, stability. And I love that he acknowledged his wife Doris sitting in the audience. He was very clear. Movement don't run on speeches alone. They run on people holding you up when no one is clapping. They talked about most of the evictions happening in Yonkers right now are coming out of the zip code 10701. And that's personal to me because that's where I live. They also spoke about how banking patterns still follow redlining maps. They also spoke about how do we end up here? And the answer is, it didn't happen by accident. What struck me over the whole event was the familiar sound. Everything was a different language, but it was the same delays. Everything is stuck behind process and procedure. So the question that came out of Thursday night wasn't about the movie. It was about, are we going to keep letting these moments live in libraries, or are we going to turn it into policy? Because if Yonkers and if the community is really serious, right, and that means building decent, quality, affordable, and low income housing east of Sawmill River Road, not just where it's easy, not just where it's comfortable. We keep pretending those crimson lines don't exist, but they do. So please read the article, because there's way more in the article than what I'm sharing here. But that is my experience on the screening of Brick by Brick.
Yeah, I want to shout out Linez, and I told her this personally, but I want to shout out on the show. Like, yo, Damon, she been hitting these events, and the passion that she writes with been resonating with everybody, to the point that at least one individual who will remain nameless, who always calls me and Damon to come do stuff, he called me and said, yo, I'm going to call Linez to see if she can come to my next event. Right? So she could cover it, because she's been putting that passion in her joints, and people have been resonating, and I definitely appreciate that. So I know Brother Harold, I see Dr. Bob's here. Brother Harold's here. If he turns on his camera, we're going to go right into this interview, and then I'm going to be talking about Martin Luther King, how the teachers, preachers, and politicians have turned him into a peaceful dreamer, and shouting out Muhammad Ali, whose birthday was yesterday, and how no athlete today, superstar athlete, would have given up everything for what they believe like he do. We're gonna talk about that. But Damon, if you can bring in our guests, we're gonna get right into them, and we're gonna start the segment. Welcome to the stage, brother Dr. Bob, a friend of the show, and Harold McCoy, my brother Infinite. Welcome to the show, my brothers.
Peace.
Now, I know y'all have been doing a lot of work for my man, John. I can't think of his name right
Edward
now.
Bruce.
Yeah, John Bruce. And a complimentary. I did the articles. Y'all found out that his tombstone didn't have a tombstone on his grave for over almost 100 years, and y'all raised the money and led the effort to get him honored the way he needs to be honored. And y'all been doing a lot of things, and y'all are working on something right now. So I wanted to bring y'all on and let y'all tell the people about it.
Very good. Thank you very much for the platform.
No doubt. So Dr. Bob, kick it off.
So firstly, let me say that it's a pleasure to be back with the Black Westchester People Before Politics audience. Obviously, for those members who know me, I mean, I've been away doing some other things, this project being one of them. And before we begin, I wanted to take the opportunity to extend a happy new year to each of the panelists, starting with Sister Larnez, Brother Damon Jones, and then peace, DK. Closing out with my man, AJ Woodson. It's very timely that we should be joining you guys on air to discuss the progress that we've been making on the documentary project about the life and legacy of John Edward Bruce, a pioneering activist, journalist, Pan-Africanist thinker who spends what is perhaps the most productive years of his career here in Westchester County, and specifically in the city of Yonkers. He arrived in about 1903 and left in 1916. And his nickname, Bruce, was what we would call a race man, which is to say he was one of the core of brothers and sisters who spearheaded the fight for Black freedom, justice, and equality. And it's important for us to note, and it's especially relevant, that his nickname was Grit Bruce, and he earned it through his work as a swashbuckling, we'll say, journalist. That's I don't know if I need to say anything else. Y'all know I have some things never change.
I wanted to say one quick thing. When we did the tribute to him, because once I learned about him because of y'all. Once I read up on this brother, he is responsible for a lot of the work we do here at Black Westchester. His journalistic endeavors and Black newspapers, and how he was speaking truth to power unapologetically, and the whole nine. We stand on that legacy. So I had to honor him in a way that I knew nobody else would. You know what I'm saying? Because we stand on his shoulders. And the fact that the meetings in his house led to the Schomburg in Harlem, like they all the stuff I learned, I was like, I never knew all that. I was like, wow, this brother was deep and was doing things. And then his work on Marcus Garvey's, all that connection, that was powerful. So I had to share that with our audience. So this documentary, what is it called? What are y'all working? What's it called? And when's it coming out? Or what's the process y'all working on it now?
Harold, would you like to offer a response?
Yeah, before I do, I would like to take the opportunity to again thank Black Westchester for this platform, giving us the opportunity to speak about our project and to contribute to the history of journalism. And I want to also piggyback off what you said, AJ, in regards to Larnez. Larnez sends me articles that she has written, sharing them, and I would agree. She is a very positive addition to the program. And Damon, I want to say peace to you, brother. We met once or twice out in the world.
Yes,
I'm just
sir.
happy to be here and be a part of what's going on. Black journalism. You can't be a journalist without being a historian, without being an activist, or at least having your hands in some of those, if not all of them.
Mhm.
So the project that we're working on is called History with Grit. And it's a documentary, pilot documentary, that we were able to be awarded funds to produce this documentary based on a lot of the preliminary work that we've done. Black Westchester has been a part of this project here, actually, from its inception. Bob's relationship with the show, Bob's relationship with the program, kind of really ties us in close. So I feel as if I'm part of the Black Westchester family.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
We've had some workshops, genealogy workshops. We did some history on Grit, on Bruce, his time in here in Yonkers, 146 Warburton. He and a couple of other brothers used to get together along with Arturo Schomburg, and they would just do the knowledge, research, study, build the way the gods do. And as you had mentioned, its ancestry, the Schomburg Cultural Center's ancestry begins here in Yonkers with those meetings, with those brothers getting together and doing the research on Black history. When we had the temporary marker ceremony, this is after Bob and I deciding that we Rise Up will officially take on this charge, carry this flag. And that flag is bringing to light some of those who have fell through the cracks of history. And Bruce is one of them. He was a brother of James H. Farrell Lodge, number 34, which is at 210 Warburton Avenue. I mean, he had his footprint here in Yonkers, and it just moved me. I was intrigued by that. And I was intrigued by the fact that also, as prominent a figure he was in his time, from what the research says, there were a series of 3 funerals held for the brother, and over 5,000 people attended 3 funerals. And I just found that to be so amazing that such a brother with such rich connection to the people, to have 5,000 people attend his funeral and he have no headstone.
Mm.
And he lie in a graveyard that was maybe 100 yards away from one football field away from where I lived. And he was laying there all the time. And it just moved me. And I thought, Bob, this would be an excellent opportunity for us to apply the acronym of Research Initiatives for the Strategic Empowerment of the Urban Populace. You know, we've done a lot of things in the community, but this was one that we wanted to do and have such an impact. And we're contributing to the history of Yonkers, Black America, and Black history. Black American history is American history.
No doubt, no doubt.
I know I was kind of long-winded on that, but
so all that culminated to y'all now working on a full-fledged documentary.
Yes.
That's where y'all at
Yes.
now.
Well,
That's where we're at now.
last year, if I remember, I went to the library to actually view the documentary, the first part of the documentary that you put together, and you had the panel talk there. And let me share something personal. After I watched the documentary that was put together about John Edward Bruce, something clicked in me, right? I knew him as a historian and an organizer, but I didn't know him as a journalist. And once I saw your documentary, and infinite gratitude to both of you, it actually helped me to expand and look at my journalism skill as a responsibility, not just a gift, right? Because once I started looking into what he did, he was disseminating information from all these Black communities all over the world. And I learned that in the documentary I watched that y'all put together. I had no idea. I say it all the time because I be in Harlem all the time. I say the Black Renaissance, the idea of the Black Renaissance started in Yonkers, started in his living room, started with these conversations, with these intellectual salons that they were cultivating in this space. And I'm just grateful that you're shining a light on his story and his legacy.
No doubt.
Well, AJ, we've, as you know, we've been working on this project for well over a year now. And in order to properly introduce the audience to the progress that we've made thus far and the ultimate purpose of the project, I thought it might be helpful to bring up some of the promotional material that I shared with you earlier.
Damon, where'd Damon go? Because I wanted Damon to load him up.
So,
go ahead, keep talking.
So the full title of the project is History with Grit, John Edward Bruce and the Rise of the Early Black Community. And it is funded by a seed grant from one of America's most prestigious academic organizations, the American Council for Learned Societies. And the goal of the project, in some respects, is to continue the tradition of popular education that Bruce and Schomburg, amongst others, initiated when they began their book collecting initiative that culminated with the creation of the Negro Society for Historical Research here in Yonkers in 1911, which, as everyone has noted already, becomes the foundation stone for the Schomburg Library. So I want to be clear that the goal of the project is to go beyond just merely the creation of a documentary, but rather to devise new and innovative ways to partner with the broader community in the process of doing research that is the glue that's going to hold the documentary together. One of the issues that Bruce and Schomburg, amongst many others, sought to overcome when they operated on the stage in national history was the growing division between well-educated Blacks, whether they were university trained, like in the case of W.E.B. Du Bois, or whether they were self-taught autodidacts. That's the word of the day. AJ, that's our word of the day, autodidacts.
Okay, you got to tell me what that means. You know, you got to tell me what that means so I can use it.
Self-taught. And so self-taught brothers, and I should note, because me and Harold, and no one said it yet, John Edward Bruce is born enslaved in 1856 in Piscataway, Maryland, and his rise to the very pinnacle of the field of Black journalism in the late 19th, early 20th century is a credit to his program of self-education. And so at a time when many African Americans rightly bemoan the poor, insufficient education that many of us have received when it comes to matters of Black history, and one of your commentators noted it. They said it in the comment bar. They never even heard of John Edward Bruce, but it gives us an opportunity to overcome those limitations and to devise an independent pathway for self-education, especially continuing along into our adult years. So, brother Jones.
Yes, sir.
You had stepped away, man, when I just started to speak. Damon, I was wondering, to try to show the audience the progress that we've made, I was hoping that you might be able to share some of the promotional material I sent to you and AJ earlier. I sent you a poster that we made, a marketing and 1 minute long marketing promotion.
Where you sent it to the email?
Yes, Damon, I sent it to your email, man. So that's kind of that's the goal. And as in keeping with this goal, this month for Black History Month, Harold and I are going to kick off our community education workshop series. In the community education, we'll be doing this in conjunction with a number of partners to the project, including the Yonkers Public Library and the Westchester County Archives, and much to our delight and honor, the Schomburg Center. So at each of those institutions, starting January 31st, we're going to hold a series of workshops. We will introduce people to undertaking genealogical community research, drawing on tools that are publicly available. First at the library, we could use like newspaper.com, Ancestry. I know there's a lot of interest. I don't know if any of you guys, by the way, I'd be curious to know if any of the panelists have actually delved into any genealogical research.
No.
And some of this does not entail, is not DNA-based research, but rather genealogical research that allows you to learn techniques to reconstruct your family tree by looking at old census documents along with other government documents like passport applications, draft cards, marriage licenses, even things like city directories.
So we had this conversation. My sister has done a lot of work with my family with Ancestry, and she's tracked us back down to back to the days of slavery. She's able to track down where we're from and everything. So I know you and her have had conversations about that. So
right, and here you can see this is the ad. Harold and I have been working very hard to try to put together a professional package, to make sure we get the greatest participation. And this lays out for you guys what the schedule will be for the next month or two. I do want to tell audience members that the number of seats available are limited. One of them, at least, AJ is going to have one of them. I think AJ is going to be attending the workshop that we do up at the Westchester County Archives, if I'm not mistaken. We'll work that out again, AJ. But the seats are limited. And I got to tell everyone, man, look, the Schomburg Library is a multi-million-dollar institution that has no equal when it comes to the role that it plays in Black history and culture. And far too often, many of us have not had an opportunity to visit. I was talking with my niece recently who fancies herself as a serious student of Black history, and she told me she hadn't been to Schomburg yet. Guys, we got to go down to Schomburg. Look, I want to make an important point about self-education and the self-education philosophy that Bruce expounded. There are limitations to the education that we receive in public schools. However, when we become adults, we become responsible for our own learning. And there's nothing to prevent us from picking up the books, visiting the libraries that generations of scholars, including John Edward Bruce and Arthur Schomburg, made possible for us. So for those who understandably lament the poor education we have, I urge you to take advantage of the opportunity that Harold and I have made, along with the support of so many of our other partners, to come down to the Schomburg, see it. As it turns out, everyone, 1926, I believe, marks the 100th year anniversary of the Schomburg Library. And so they have a special exhibition that they put together that will walk viewers through the highlights and milestones of its evolution and history. And so maybe I'll be quiet.
So the 23rd is going to be a busy day. So I'm going to be with you from 1 to 4, and then I got to run up to the NAACP where Damon's doing his presentation about how to survive a police how to
survive police confrontation.
Yeah, at 7:00. So that's going to be a long day. So yes, I
need to be there because that's a head scratching mystery that is concerning many of us these days.
Everybody should be there. The Yonkers NAACP is a Yonkers NAACP thing. So everybody should come out.
Can you get shout out the time and location?
Yeah, it's at the BZAC Center, February 23rd from 7 to Sorry, from 6:30 to 8. Let me look at the flyer. Hold on.
Till it's over.
It just says 7 o'clock. Don't say when it's over. So
So when Damon done.
Y'all might be there at 12 midnight. You're gonna keep
Sarah
let
Lawrence.
me keep talking. Y'all gonna actually let me keep talking?
When Damon done teaching.
I don't know if y'all serious about that.
Sarah Lawrence College, Center for the Urban River at BZAC, 35 Alexander Street, Yonkers, New York. And the
And it's hybrid.
Yeah.
Physical or virtually, you can attend.
Right.
Yeah,
and the flyers on all our social media and on Black Westchester.
Y'all want me to show the YouTube clip?
Can you? Yeah, Damon.
Yeah.
Thank you, man.
Yeah, Damon, before you cut to that, I just wanted to bring the attention of the audience down to the bottom rim of the flyer.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where you will see all of the partners on the project.
Oh, okay. Yep.
Everyone that's involved with the project or sponsored or supporters thereof. And we are still looking for funds. So to the partners, to the listeners, we still need some support in making this come true.
So that being said, for anybody who is hearing about this, who's going to watch this later, who wants to support, how do they get in touch with y'all to support? How do they do that?
Bob.
So if you go to our webpage, the History with Grit webpage that we have at Rise Up's website, you'll find a link to our Indiegogo fundraising campaign, if I'm not mistaken.
And send that to me too, and I'll share it. So.
Okay, if I'm not mistaken. And I guess maybe I'll be quiet now.
And here's the video.
In the early 1900s, a man named John Bruce Gritt walked the streets of Yonkers. A journalist, a historian, a freedom fighter, a visionary. Today, his story is being brought back to life by students, scholars, and neighbors through the History with Grit project. With your help, we're building a documentary, a digital archive, and a living tribute to Bruce's legacy and to the community that shaped him. We are asking for your stories, your support, your partnership. Let's dig up the past and build a future we can all be proud of. To learn more, scan the QR code on the screen. Join us in reclaiming Yonkers' hidden history.
That's what's up. And again, I can't say enough of the work that y'all been doing. I've been pretty much privy to it since much of the beginning, of course, from Bob, and I've tried to attend what I could. I'm there when I can be there. You definitely have my support. Because it's important. We have to, and that's what Black Westchester tries to do. We have to document our history before others try to write it for us or outright whitewash it down and erase it. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't wait for others to document our history. We have to be purposeful documenting our history, and that's exactly what y'all two are doing. And I applaud the work, and any way I can be of help, y'all just got to call.
But thank you, brother. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, AJ. And I'll close out by noting that there's more at stake in this documentary than just learning about the life of John Edward Bruce. Indeed, when you put his life into a broader organizational perspective, one thing that you come to learn is that he tried to, as Larnez suggested before, as our challenge, to translate his ideas into concrete action here in the city of Yonkers. And there were 3 initiatives in particular that he helped to spearhead that continue to remain central to the challenges that we confront today. The first that I'll mention, and Damon, I was thinking about you especially with respect to this challenge, brother, is that he helped to spearhead several innovative Black businesses that adopted a economic philosophy of cooperative economics as a way of trying to address the challenge of under and unemployment in the Black community. He was part of a group of brothers who established a cooperative whose name was the Invincible Order of Colored Cooperators. And what is very interesting is that when they started, I think it's 1905, Harold, if I'm not mistaken, when they launched it, they started by building and renting out 11, listen to me, 11 homes here in Yonkers, several of which remain in existence on Culver Street. And the Colored Cooperative was a county-wide venture. So you had branches in New Rochelle, in Mount Vernon, and in Terrytown, and they provide for us a challenge today as we seek for new ways to address the housing and economic problem that we confronted. Another important thing that Bruce did while he was here, which Damon and AJ, you've already taken care of, he started 2 newspapers. The first, well, actually, I think my sense is it was actually the second, but he started 2 newspapers while he was here because of the central role that, information plays in our lives. And then finally, everyone, he also was central in launching a number of political organizations. In this case, during the time, the Republican Party was dominant in the Black community and was fearful, as many are today, that the decline in Black support for the Republican Party would have long-term consequences for Black people, which would be detrimental. So how we organize ourselves economically, politically, and culturally is a question that Bruce and his colleagues attempted to answer. And some of those answers we should acquaint ourselves with today because we're essentially struggling with this very same challenges.
Absolutely. I wanted to shout out Andrew Wang, who said, reach out to Howard University as John Edward Bruce had a role with them and their newspaper when you were talking about support and stuff. So I don't know if that's, he just put that out there.
It's absolutely. I think we've been
very accurate.
Harold must have set that up because
Andrew Wang is a major supporter of the cause. Yes. Mr. Hip Hop. I mean, he's always on the scene. Andrew supports, the cause, the movement, and he works like us, pro bono, and he's the odd one out, but he's leads the charge on a lot of things.
Always there. I'm sure we all can attest. Shout out to Andrew. We all can attest to the central role because we see he's involved in a lot of projects that people are undertaking around the table, and he's enjoyed tremendous success himself. As a matter of fact,
and if he supports you, he supports you. He's come out to Long Island to see me perform. He's come down to the city with me to go see De La. He promotes everything that we do. He shares all our stuff religiously. Like, dude is like,
Yo, man, so shout out to President Howard to call me, man. That's what I'm waiting for. Make that happen for me, man.
So this one's for Linez. Thank Linez for the invite, Lois.
Oh, you're welcome, Lois.
So any last words? Anything we didn't ask you that you want to bring up about the project, about John Edward Bruce, or anything like that? Don't everybody speak at once?
I think we pretty much covered everything. I do want to mention a few names. We have on our side who has been a great supporter of the whole John Edward Bruce movement and is one of the founders, for lack of better terminology, of our local research on John Edward Bruce, which comes from the Yonkers historian Mary Hoa. She's been big on the job with John Edward Bruce doing the research. Ken Davis, our past master of James H. Farrell Lodge number 34, Ken Davis. He
Shout out to Ken
himself
Davis.
yes, he's done tremendous research. He's the lodge historian. So, he was one of the ones who identified to the lodge the fact that Schaumburg is on our charter. James H. Farrell Lodge number 34, Schaumburg is on the charter. And Bruce was a member. And this was all brought to our attention as from the lodge as a whole by past master Ken Davis. The Yonkers Historical Society, the Sherwood House, Jackie Lareo. Did I say her name correctly, Bob?
I'm going to defer to you.
Yes. So these are just a few names that I just wanted to kind of really throw out there that has been involved with the project, full supporters. I mean, Mary Robeson and from the Yonkers Library, Mary Robeson, and of course we can't forget Jesse Montero, the director of the Yonkers Public Library, and others. I mean, there's so many. We've gotten so much support on this project, on the idea, and I'm grateful for that.
No doubt.
Yes.
Doubt. I wanted to definitely do this, and I wanted to start the show off with this, especially talking about John Edward Bruce, because one of the next segments I'm going to be doing is talking about Martin Luther King, and I'm talking about how, as Black Westchester, it's our responsibility to preserve his legacy, because the preachers, teachers, and politicians have run with the narrative that he was just a peaceful dreamer. You know what I'm saying? And Martin Luther King was much more than that. And I wrote a couple of articles, and we're going to be discussing that. And that, again, work like that is inspired by what John Edward Bruce stood for, about representing ourselves and documenting ourselves. And Martin Luther King did a lot of those things where he advocated, he spoke truth to power. And, he did a lot of things that they don't tell us about in history. You know what I'm saying? Because it doesn't fit with their narrative. So that's
right.
one of the things we're going next. So I wanted to set this off first.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Lastly, my last shout out, and we cannot leave Brother Raymond Duguay from the UNIA.
Oh yes,
they were the UNIA. The UNIA has been a major supporter of the project. John Edward Bruce, in their eyes, is he's the driving force behind the UNIA, and they revered John Edward Bruce as one of the UNIA's historical contributions. So, Brother Duguay, big shout to you. The UNIA, thank you very much for your support and your continued support.
Damon and I had a lot of interactions with the UNIA. We used to go to Dr. Ron Daniels, the Pan-African meetings monthly downtown. The UNIA was very involved in that, and we used to have a lot of interactions with them. I haven't been to one of those meetings in a couple of years, probably quite a few years, but we used to go every month. And, it was just, those meetings were just incredible.
Yes.
I want to thank you, my brothers. Damon, any last words for them? Larnez, any last words for them before we move to the next?
We appreciate the work you're doing. Thank you.
Well, Damon, you muted. If you're talking, we can't hear you.
Oh, yeah. I'm glad your brothers is doing what you're doing, man. I wish y'all a lot of luck. Unfortunately, I won't be there because Larnez got me running my mouth in Yonkers. And but I wish y'all luck with that. The Schaumburg is beautiful, like you said. We might have to start sponsoring trips for young people to go down there and spend a couple of hours at the Schaumburg and learn, man. I think that is necessary. We have to stop worried about other people teaching our history, right? We have to be like others and teach our own history. And the Schaumburg is definitely, a historical place, something that should be dear to Black people's hearts throughout, not just New York, but throughout the whole world.
Nation,
Throughout the whole world, right?
Yeah.
So we don't have to worry about people cutting funds, you know, to change our history or to quiet what American history really is. You know, we could just go to the Schomburg. We ain't got to worry about that. You know, so thank you, brothers. I really appreciate that, and really appreciate the work you're doing, you know, with this gentleman, bringing the light, you know, where we were as Black people in Westchester County, being independent, being thinkers, you know, being about businesses. You know, we went from having so many Black businesses in all these towns to basically damn near having nothing. You know, and we're not even having that conversation yet. You know, so, you know, but thank you for the work that you've done, bringing light on this brother's work. And, you know, we all standing on his shoulders one way or another.
Indeed. Thank you, big brother.
Yes,
Thank you. Thank you.
No doubt. No doubt. Yeah.
All right, but listen, we know you all have other segments that you need to get to. We're going to bid you good evening, and we'll stay tuned in as y'all continue with the rest of tonight's program.
No doubt. No doubt. No doubt.
All right, y'all. Peace, family.
All right, yeah.
All right, y'all.
Later.
All right.
All right, yep.
You can keep up.
Give him a round of applause.
Yep. You keep up going on with John Edward Bruce and the work that they're doing on Black Westchester. We will be there. We will be covering as much of it as possible. But again, I said as a segue, you know, talking about what John Edward Bruce was about and how he stood up and he documented our history and he continued to teach the truth. One of the things that I definitely wanted to do with this being Martin Luther King weekend. First off, you know, they got us thinking he was just this peaceful preacher, this peaceful dreamer. You know what I'm saying? That was just all about nonviolence, and that was part of him. But there was a whole lot more that they don't share because it does not fit into their narrative, and they're never going to share. And it is our responsibility as Black media to make sure that we celebrate that because, we got a lot of our preachers, teachers, and politicians running with that narrative. Dr. King was a peaceful dreamer. You know what I'm saying? But the real Dr. King made America uncomfortable. Let's not forget the FBI had him they labeled him as a terrorist. Let's not forget the mainstream media, you know what I'm saying, criticized him often. Let's not forget a lot of the Black pastors that ran with him and called out his name and talked about his legacy were criticizing him for being too radical. Like, oh, you're going to make them mad at us. You know, like house Negroes, you know what I'm saying? Like, oh, you're gonna get us in trouble. You're gonna mess up what we're doing. Let's not forget. And this goes on. And I wanted to do this because I see so many, especially this time of year for his birthday, especially for Black History Month, our preachers, our teachers, and our politicians quote Martin Luther King, but they only quote little clips of him. The way some people only quote little clips of the verse in the Bible, but don't read the whole verse. You know what I'm saying? For a narrative that they want. And it's a lot of people that look like us that are carrying this narrative, this watered down narrative. And that's why I did this piece. Damon had a piece that he did a couple years ago. I reshared, can we celebrate the real Martin Luther King? And I did a piece celebrating the real legacy of Martin Luther King. Not the one that made people comfortable. And I just read a paragraph or two real quick. Every January for his birthday and February for Black History Month, America gathers to honor Dr. Martin Luther King with phrases that taken neatly out of context, speeches sworn of discomfort, and a depiction of a man made palatable enough to offend no one. We are reminded that he had a dream, that he believed in peace, and that love could overcome hatred. What we are really reminded is Dr. Martin Luther King was considered dangerous in his day by the powers, surveilled, labeled a terrorist by the federal government, denounced and condemned by mainstream, mostly white press, and assassinated while organizing for the poor. The whitewashing of history is not an accident, it's a strategy. And I'm not going to read the whole thing. I want everybody to get into it. I know Damon wrote an article or two. Larnez wrote another different article. And I just want to speak about the real Martin Luther King right now. So I'm going to pass the mic right now.
Go ahead, Lauren. Lauren, go ahead. I'm trying to I'm just typing something.
Well, Dr. King also talked about the other America, right?
The speech that they don't play. The speech they don't play in January and February, the other America, yes.
Right. One full of opportunity and one full of despair, And if you look at it, we're talking about these same divides in 2026, right? We keep celebrating Dr. King once a year, but while ignoring the fact that the conditions he was fighting against the other 364 days, right? He didn't die for a holiday. He died for transformation. So just to tie it into the house, to the brick by brick, we were talking about housing on the East Sawmill River Road. That's MLK work. Building decent, affordable, low-income housing where it hasn't been allowed to exist. That's MLK work, right? Not charity, not symbolism, structural change. Dr. King said, justice too long delayed is justice denied. That wasn't a suggestion. That was an indictment. And that's what I got.
Well, here's an excerpt from The Other America. As I use this subject because there are literally two Americas. One America is beautiful for situation, and in sense, this America is overflowed with milk of prosperity and honey of opportunity. This America is a habitat of millions of people who have food and material necessities for their bodies, culture and education for their minds, and freedom and human dignity for their spirits. In this America, millions of people experience every day had the opportunity of having life, liberty, and pursuit of happiness in all of their dimensions. In this America, young people grew up in the sunlight of opportunity. Tragically and unfortunately, there is another America. The other America has daily ugliness about it that constantly transforms the ability of hope into the fatigue of despair. In this America, millions of work-starved men walk the streets daily and search for jobs that do not exist. In this America, people find themselves living in rat-infested, vermin-filled slums. In this America, people are poor by millions. They find themselves perishing on the lonely island of poverty in the midst of a vast opportunity of material prosperity. That is a clip. That is a quote from The Other America. That's one of the two speeches that I highlight in my piece. The other one is Beyond Vietnam.
America loves the dream, but buries the demands, right?
Absolutely.
A king who challenges capitalism, militarism, racial, I don't even know how to say the word right. Heredities. How you say that word? I know how to spell it. HIER.
Hierarchies.
Yes, hierarchies. Thank you. It's still inconvenient. So MLK shouldn't just be, a quote and a day off. It should be a real tribute to Dr. King to remember his resistance and what he fought for.
And the reason, and again, you bring up that speech, The Other America, and I bring up the other one, Beyond Vietnam. Tomorrow, everybody has the day off. Alternate side of street parking is suspended. There's no mail, no school, no nothing. Everybody's going to sit home and celebrate a day off. Watch these videos because you're going to see I Have a Dream on every channel. You're going to see radio stations playing it over hip-hop and R&B music. You know what I'm saying? DJ's going to be cutting in little pieces of it in their mixes, but you're not going to hear these. This is the part of the legacy of Martin Luther King they don't celebrate. So we, as Black people, Cynthia that used to be on our show, Cynthia Turnquest Jones, she said she learned more from Black history from her father, not from school. So in our households, we need to play this. For our youth groups, we need to play these videos. This is what we need to be doing all weekend, and especially tomorrow where the world celebrates the observation of his birthday. And it needs not to just be on that day. We need to continue it on because they're going to do it all again. And Black History Month, where they're going to tell you Rosa Parks freed the slaves and Martin Luther King had a dream. You know what I'm saying? And that's all they're going to tell you. But there's a lot of people. And last thing I want to say about that, Damon, there's a lot of people that call Dr. King's name, teachers, preachers, and politicians, who Dr. King would have nothing to do with if he was alive today, and he would not stand with them, and he would be criticizing them for their inactivity, not speaking up, and for not doing anything. You know what I'm saying? But they quick to call his name. And for all you protesters, yeah, he protested, but his protesting was legislation. Not just to shut down the Brooklyn Bridge and hold the die-in at Grand Central Station. You know, the next day people go back to work and it didn't make a difference. You know what I'm saying? But he did it to change legislation. So I'm not saying don't protest. I'm not saying all that. But as our brother Hafiz Muhammad, rest in peace, he said there has to be an or else. We protesting without an or else. You can't demand without an or else. There has to be an or else. We have, and that's what work we have to do. We can't depend on our leaders. We can't depend on the government. This is what we need to do in our households and in our communities. And I put this out to everybody, especially all the preachers out there. And I know some of y'all gonna say that's not me. But for you, they say when you throw a rock at a pack of dogs, the hit dog hollered. The one who got hit is the one who hollers. So if you think I'm talking about you, then I'm probably talking about you. Real talk. Like, yo, I mean, it's time that we have to be bold in our speaking. We have to be bold in our demands. We have to be bold in representing ourselves. And I'm not going to sit there. We do this every year. And I shouldn't have to do this in 2026. Damon and I've had various versions of this conversation every year. But this year, it just hit me. When I saw certain people, I see the quotes, and I knew it was going to be, and I just felt that, you know what, on our platform, we had to stand up, and we had to share it. So there's articles by me, Damon, Larnez, all on Martin Luther King. Read about the real Martin Luther King. Share the articles. Watch the videos of other speakers other than The Dream. Watch The Other America. Watch Beyond Vietnam. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of these leaders that call his name don't stand on the business 10 toes down like he did.
Yep.
And he knew talking about the government and challenging the Vietnam War could cause him to die, could cause them to take him out. And he didn't let that stop him from doing it. He did it boldly and unapologetically, knowing they were coming for him. We want to play it safe now. We want to go along to get along, to go along to get along. You know, we don't want to offend nobody. You know what I'm saying? That is not our job. And I'm sorry, I'm a member, but even organizations like the NAACP and some of the local branches, y'all are too busy trying to be friends with the elected officials. That is not your job as an organization. The organization is not about that. You're supposed to hold their feet to the fire, but y'all want to be liked. It's not about being liked. Martin Luther King wasn't thinking about being liked. Malcolm X wasn't thinking about being liked.
Gone are the days that we worry about how you feel about what I say, especially if it's factual, especially if it's impacting my community. Gone are the days.
And all you, as Damon, to quote Damon, all you protest profiteers doing this for likes and on social media. Yo, I don't feel you, man. I don't feel you. If you're going to do the work, do the work. And there's a lot of people need to step up and do the work. Have that difficult conversation. Stop trying to be, you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable. We all want to be comfortable. We want to fit in. We don't want to offend nobody. Okay, we've been doing that for 400 years. Where'd that get us?
In the same place.
Might be trying to do something like what you say, brick by brick. What was the rest of the title? Your article?
Oh, brick by brick. Hold on. Yeah. I don't even know what the rest of the title was.
You supposed to come out. You supposed to come out. That was what the flow.
I wasn't ready for the layup. I wasn't ready for the layup.
Oh my God! I didn't gave you the alley.
You got me and yes, and I'm about to say amen after you talking. I wasn't focused on what I wrote.
Mike Hannon said, "Preach, AJ." Shout out to Margaret Coleman. Yeah,
you was connected to source, so I was like, yes. I got the spirit when you was talking.
Yeah, I'm trying to think it now. I got to make me look up your article now, man.
I'm looking it up myself because I don't even know. All I know is brick by brick.
Yeah. So anyway, it's time, yo. It's time. It is time to stop playing. It is time to shit or get off the pot. It is time to be purposeful. We in some dangerous times, and we complaining about what everybody else is doing to us and how everything else is everybody else's fault. What are you doing?
Brick by brick, still standing in the same place. There we
Still
go.
standing in the same place.
Here we go.
We've been trying to do it the safe way, the comfortable way. We didn't want to offend nobody. We still standing in the same place, having the same conversation that our mothers and grandmothers was having 30 and 60 years ago. Some of us so busy celebrating the civil rights movement, we ain't out there doing the work that we need to be doing in our era right now. Stop celebrating. Get up and do some work. Word up. Damon's been quiet. I know he's going to say something.
Stop allowing people to come into the community and put Band-Aids on bullet wounds.
Absolutely.
We can definitely impact our circumstances, our community. We make the impact. We know how to heal our community. Why are you allowing other people to come in and do it?
I see my brother Damon. He was quiet. I see him smiling, and I know he got something to say. So I'm passing the mic right now.
It's on you, Damon. It's on
you. So I made a post. I made a post because I've seen a lot of comments, especially on my page. I talked to AJ about it. Right? Even my son called me about it. And was like, yo, like, people got a lot of things to say. And this is, people have a lot of things to say. So what I posted yesterday or today, it was one of them days. Me at a press conference out in I don't know, AJ, did you came out? Did you come out?
Long Island?
Yeah. Did you come out to the Long Island one?
When you said call the cops on the cops? Yeah.
You
I
was out there
videotaped
with
the
that
whole
one?
thing. I was out at Fred's office. I videotaped the whole thing,
Yeah. So I posted that.
When you and Corey y'all were trading hip-hop quotables.
Yeah. So I posted that to say, there's a lot of people think activism is social media, right? They really think activism is social media. And some of the response was like, oh, yeah, you need to talk about this one. You need to talk about, no. You need to talk about them. I'm going to say that again for people who are watching on my page. I don't need to talk about this one. I've been talking about injustices for over 30 years. If you see an injustice, you need to talk about it. You don't need to ask me to talk about it. You need to post that on your page. You need to have those conversations on your page. Not come on my page and want to have conversations about that. Have the conversation opening up on your page so people that work with you, people that invest time with you, your coworkers, your bosses, all the people can see what you're talking about. Don't come on my page and have the discussion. So we have to go beyond Facebook and social media activism, right? And I think I can't remember the book that changed me the most about King was Where Do We Go From Here? Chaos or Community. That book gave me a whole different perspective on King and his thought process on what we needed to be doing as a people. And as Harry Belafonte, God bless him too, clearly said that King had reservations about integration at the end, and which he was right. Right, which he was totally right. And we don't talk about that. As a civil rights leader, King had no real power. He didn't have power until he started talking about living wages. because living wages was universal. There wasn't a color barrier living wages. I heard one recording of Martin Luther King where he went into the jail to talk to the inmates and to the civil rights people under his watch who got locked up for it. So he's in there talking to them, comforting them, making sure everything's okay. So in between, I guess, whatever the sessions, he said he started talking to one of the correction officers. At that time, they called them prison guards. He started talking to the prison guards, and he found out how much he was making. And he told the guard, you should be out here marching with us if they're paying you that little bit to do this type of job. So just like, yes, once economics come into the play. See, the problem with activists today, they're not marching for economics. They're not marching for economics for the Black community, because if we were, our communities wouldn't be the same. They're the same since Clinton. You know, no, poverty didn't have no color. And that's what made the Black Panther Party dangerous when they sat down with the white boys from the Appalachian Mountains. And they realized they were not the enemy of each other. So we have to redirect and not get caught up in this social media stuff. See, all the great leaders didn't have social media. None of that was popping, and they still was more effective than these showmanship podcasters and so-called activists out here. You know, and we saw the ignorance firsthand with Corey Holcomb and Anton Daniels. Complete ignorance. See, Anton Daniels is stupid because you're arguing with a comedian. Like, I will never argue with D.L. Hughley. You're a comedian. I'm not arguing with you. For what? So that shows Anton Daniels didn't have the actual life experience of doing the work with the people. Because someone had to have life experience of doing work with the people would never argue with Corey Holcomb. He will go there and have fun and enjoy. Not to the point that he's telling another man that he sucks, you know what. And then Corey Holcomb fell for it. It's a whole nother thing. But, you know, we have to separate, you know, like that old Memorex commercial, you know, separate the real. I can't.
Is it live or Memorex? Yeah.
Memorex, right? We got to separate the live people from the fake people in 2026.
Hold
because
on.
social media.
What y'all age showing? What's Memorex?
Memorex used to be Memorex used to be
it was tapes.
Oh.
Oh my God.
They were saying that the thing about it was it was supposed to be the quality was supposed to be so good you couldn't tell if it was live or if it was Memorex. That was their
right. That was the slogan, that the quality of this cassette tape was, you couldn't tell the difference of playing the cassette tape or actual live music. So if it's live or Memorex, like that was the slogan. Oh my God, you don't even know what a Memorex is.
I didn't know they called. I called it a cassette tape. Y'all
Memorex was a brand, like Sony. Memorex was a brand.
Yeah, I didn't know none of the brands of the cassette tapes I was using.
Yeah,
Mama go to the store because this one done reversed and paused and pressed record and ran the tape out.
I used to buy Memorex. I used to buy Memorex. I was a Memorex fan. But 2026, we have to separate. We have to separate.
She said, "What is
we got to separate it, man?" Because people think that just because you got likes and clicks, that verifies you as someone who actually fights for freedom, justice, and equality.
Or because you got 2 million followers or $100,000.
Exactly. You know, just like now you got this fake Black Panther Party leader talking stuff about ICE, and they're sharing it all over the place. If it doesn't come from Fred Hampton Jr., it's not the Black Panther Party.
Mm.
So Black people, because of our emotion and our lack of justice in America from Black and white politicians, let's make that clear.
Right.
We'll jump on anything that looks like resistance, even when it's fake resistance. Mm-hmm. We jumped on Black Lives Matter and it was a con job. A con job. It was the LGBTQ plus pushing their agenda through a slogan that got us all emotional about it. To beg white folks that our lives matter instead of making our lives matter in our communities ourselves.
And got mad at Damon and myself when we said Black lives can't matter until they matter to anybody else until they matter to Black people.
Yes, quoting the famous Mr. Hafiz Muhammad.
Yeah, Black lives gotta matter to Black people before they can matter to anybody else. And if Black lives don't matter to us, we can say it as many times as we want. We can put it on a T-shirt. We can shout it from the hilltop. I wanted to say one last thing because you said something, and I didn't want to interrupt you. The dangerous thing about King, when you was talking about Black and white, wasn't when all the Negroes was following him, when all the white people started following him. Mm-hmm. That's when he became too dangerous. Remember that scene in Malcolm X where Malcolm went down in the movie when Denzel played Malcolm? He went down to the police station and he brought all of them people. And he put his finger. Martin Luther King, it wasn't just Black people like that. It was white people following him. And that made him, his message was resonating to a lot of poor white people. And that made him dangerous. Because, they let you sell whatever you want to sell to the Black community and keep you rah-rah and, while they do what they do. But when you start get white people to start saying, yeah, and following you too, you calling out the government and you calling out all that, you dangerous. Mm-hmm. You real dangerous. And they considered him dangerous. The powers that be considered him dangerous. He was surveilled. He was labeled as a terrorist. Don't let he was calling out the government and the Beyond Vietnam speech. He was like, they let these white kids go to college and they taking the poorest of the poor Black people and then send them over to Vietnam to fight for a war. Other poor poor people of color. Like, you understand what I'm saying? Like, he was like, diminishing our community. And he talks about all that. That's not the peaceful dreamer. You know what I'm saying? He was not just a peaceful dreamer. And we got to stop. We got to shut that narrative down and talk about the real Martin Luther King. And that's what this is about. Again, I want everybody, we keep saying, watch the two speeches, The Other America and Beyond Vietnam. Teachers, play that for your students. Your head of youth groups, play that for your youth groups. NAACP, play that for your members and your youth groups. Parents, play that for your kids. Older relatives, because it don't be parents now, it'd be aunts, uncles, grandmothers, whoever's watching the kids, play that for the kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, play it for your kids and stop twerking on Instagram and play it for your kids, mothers. Like, what the hell is wrong with y'all? Stop twerking on Instagram and read to your kids. Play some goddamn documentaries to your kids and stop twerking and showing your behind when you're working out. Nobody wants to see you do curls, but you got the camera on your behind.
So yes, his
come on.
I just want to say his NBC interview was very good as well. Reverend Barr, she said, "Stop it, David." Emotional. Yo, I was just thinking about that. I was talking about Public Enemy. And the success of Public Enemy was not all because of Chuck D's words and his Master of the Universe voice and all that. It was because of the comic relief by Flavor Flav that broke up the seriousness And that's why we remember those songs. And then we remember the powerful words Chuck said. But if it was just all Chuck's words and all serious, you might not remember some of them songs. It was Flavor Flav being the court jester, you know what I'm saying, making you laugh a little bit, and then you singing and laughing and you doing all that. So yeah, we need that. We definitely need some. She said, emotional activism will mess us up every time. James 1:19. Quick to hear and listen, slow to speak. I want to say that part again, but I just want to say that part again. Quick to hear and listen and slow to speak. I often say, all of you people go into them spaces, I want to be heard. You want everybody to hear what you got to say, but you don't come there to listen to what nobody else got to say. Mm-hmm. And we have to stop not talking to people who don't think like us. That's how we talking. We don't want to talk to. There are many people.
That's why the Democrats are going to lose again.
Right. So there are many people. Reggie Lafayette, one of the first things he told me about politics when I first did Black Westchester, he was like, you're going to find out, AJ, no permanent friends, no permanent enemies in politics, only permanent interests. I have worked with people who my interest was aligned at that time. I may never work with them people again, but on that one thing, my interest was aligned. I cannot not work with them because they got a bunch of other stuff. They were very important to the alignment of my issue on that thing. And we have to work with other people. We do this thing where we come at each other first with what our differences is. When if we started with our commonalities, we can have something to build on. You know what I'm saying? And you do this and I do this and I do it this way and you do it this way. That there's never no basis to build from that. There was a white dude that when it was MSNBC, I forgot the white James Granville, whatever his name is. He's an ally. He said, but when you walk up to me and the first words to me is usually racist, you lose me. I'm not trying to hear nothing else you got to say after that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we gotta have conversations and we have to come with our commonalities first. We have to build on those things. And we have to build with people who think other than ways than we do. Most importantly, we need to hear. I like to hear James Carville. Thank you, Bob. I like to hear what some of those people have to think, because then I know how to deal with them. Because if I'm not talking to them, I don't hear what they're thinking. I want to hear what some of them is thinking, so I know how to move and how to maneuver with some of them people. I want to hear what they got to say. I want to hear. Sometimes you understand why some people are the way they are when you hear what the hell they got to say, and then you know how to deal with them. And
that's the importance of getting to know the people that you're around and caring about it. Because if you don't lean in, you kind of allow the space to fill up with lies or beliefs that you thought were true about that person, that culture. And then when you lean in and get to know them, you find out that that's not necessarily true.
You know how many white people first saw me and they were doing Black Westchester, came on this, if I did a white Westchester, I'd be a racist. People had a certain, but you know what? Some of them that sat down and talked to me walked away with a whole different perspective of why we do what we do and the importance of what we do. But because they don't come in contact with a lot of Black people, they only had the perspective of what they saw our most ignorant of us do on social media and on television. You know what I'm saying? In the music videos and songs, that's their perspective of Black people, because they don't have conversations with us. You know what I'm saying? We have to have the conversation. And last I wanted to say, while I saw Bob's name, one of the biggest issues in the Black community, everybody got an idea, is lack of organization. That's something that Bob, lack of organization. I don't care what you're trying to do. If it's not organized and you don't have no organization, you setting up to fail. So, and some of that, you can't do everything yourself. Some of that means you have to ally with some people, even if it's just on these 1 or 2 issues, to fight what you want to fight for. You have to team up with some people.
So AJ, without naming names, right? Without naming names. Without naming names, I don't want to name names, but it was a group of brothers trying to get together. No, not today. It was a group of brothers trying to get together, try to have an organization. And not only that, brothers came from other states, wanted to be part of the organization.
Yes.
And then one brother, one. It only takes one. What? Hey, we still got the pastor on. What the Bible talked about when the sons of man and the devil was with the sons of man.
Reverend Margaret, you still there?
It only took one. I can't think. I have to chat GPT the scripture, but it only takes one. And every meeting we had, this one. She
said she's still there. Tell her what it is you're looking for.
Oh man, I can't think of the scripture.
You said the sons of man.
Well, the sons of man and the devil was with the sons of man. I gotta find the scripture now. Well, anyway, I just want to tell the story. We will get back to the scripture. So every meeting that these men had, this one person created chaos. This one person created chaos, had everything was backwards. Even the mission of the men coming together got twisted. Even with the membership, with the founding members, he ain't want to pay $100. So yeah. To the point where people said, well, you don't got to pay it all at once. You could break it up into months. And then that was a problem. Then someone said, yo, man, I'll just pay you $100. And that was a problem.
Then Jesus, hold on, here you go. Then Jesus was led up by the Spirit into the wilderness to be tempted by the devil. Is that it? Oh, the Spirit led the Spirit led the devil tempt the sons of man stand in between.
That's not it?
No. Hold on. I got it now. Sons of man.
Oh, that was you.
That was me.
Yep, the devil.
So what about when the devil had finished every temptation, he departed from him until the opportune time? That's Luke 4:13.
No, that's not it.
I know what he's talking
about. But I just want to continue what Damon was saying real quick. So again, this not calling out names is just a respect for our brother. We addressing something. But it was like, so we all came together and it was like, yo, everybody put in a certain amount of you're a founding member. You're a founding member, which gave you voting rights and all that other stuff. Other people could join, but they was our founding members. This person came in and wasn't a founding member, had the opportunity to be, but did not want to support the thing financially. You know what I'm saying? And it was like, and like Damon said, it was broke down. You could break down to the payments. You could do this, do that. I don't need nobody to pay for me. Like, other brothers out of love would just be like, yo, I'll drop you 100 real quick. It's no big deal. Like, I'll drop the organization can have it and you could be a founding member because you got a lot to say. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he got mad because he couldn't vote. You wasn't a founding member. Membership has privileges.
Exactly.
Some of the commercials say membership has privileges. And you can't not be a member and you just want to talk some junk. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta.
Exactly.
But everything was divisive. There was nothing. Everybody came together, and there might have been a different way this person thought and this person thought, but as a group, it was a collective, and this person had something negative to say about everything.
So we just got worn out from even having meetings because it became such a mental fuck. Like every meeting, it's like, yo, dude, like this is the mission of the organization. This is what we want to do for the community. And then he'll come up with, we got to fight for political prisoners that have been locked up for 6 years. And dudes is like, no, that's not what the organization is for. We're not doing that. This is for community. It's for mentorship. He said, tell the story. It's hilarious. Yeah, it was amazing. So the scripture is Job 2:1-2, when God came to the present, when now there was the days when sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them, right? So I say that to say this. When you're organizing, it's always going to be one that's going to represent the devil. It has never.
Let
me just finish. It has never failed in my 40 some odd, well, less than 40, because I'm only 58. It never failed in my years of activism that the devil did not pop up somewhere among these Negroes to cause chaos. That's why it's so important, Black people. When you organize, make sure that it's spiritually sound. That's one of our biggest mistakes that we make in organizing. And I'm also, and listen, the scripture didn't differentiate. The scripture made it plain. Like the devil can have a preacher pen. Don't get it twisted.
He knows the scripture better than you. He's a big angel.
Exactly. But the devil can come. I'm talking about in organizing. When we think these Negroes that got titles and doctor degrees and all that other stuff, the devil can be there too. The devil can be there too. That's why do you think a lot of times things fall apart? After a while, it's like it's like we're going in circles. We're going in circles.
Absolutely.
And that's why we jump on for the first emotional high that we can win. Because we always losing.
Mm-hmm.
You know, now some people say, oh man, you being a Debbie Downer and you always throwing negativity and this and that. But I just got to tell the truth, man, because after a while, after you live long enough on this planet, you see the bullshit when it comes.
Some people,
right?
Yeah.
Well, you should. Some people don't.
No, if you don't see it, then you're denying it because you feel it. You see it. It's familiar.
No, but they want that high, right?
Mm-hmm.
They want that high. Let me tell you, when I first joined the National Black Police Association, I was 23 years old, and
I'm sorry.
I went.
Bob figured it out. Who you talking about? He just texted
me. And I really thought at that time. I remember, man, we was in Rhode Island. We was up in Rhode Island, and I mean, all my elders were young men. I was in my 20s, so they had to be in their like late 40s. Early 50s, right? Now they're in their 70s and 80s. Mm-hmm. But I felt watching them that freedom was around the corner. I thought it was 30 some odd years later. I'm still fighting the fight that they were fighting when I was 20 some odd years old. We're still talking about the same issues in the Black community with criminal justice, policing, gangs, all that stuff. We're still talking about the same stuff. So imagine, man, how tired I am talking about the same things for 30 years. It's insane.
In some ways, we took a few steps back, actually.
And then people want me to talk about all this other stuff. What the fuck are you doing? Excuse my French. Because if God take me away tomorrow, who's going to talk about it?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're going to play the top 100 Black Westchester radio shows to listen to me talk about the stuff that they don't want to talk about no more?
Well, see, everybody wants you. See, that's the beautiful thing. this beautiful world they live in. They want you to say the things that they're scared to say or don't want to or won't say, so they can still sit in their pretty comfort situation, and they don't have to deal with what comes with saying these things. They don't have to deal with the resistance. They don't have to deal with making somebody angry or people not liking them no more or losing a job or whatever it is. They don't have to. So they want you to do they want you to fight for the things, to say the things that they scared to say or won't say, and they come to you and they be like, because they call me up and be like, yo, blase blase blah, and I think a lot of them are starting to get a little pissed off because I'm not running to go tell that and fight their fight. Like I'm not gonna fight your fight for you. Our position is to stand with you in your fight.
Mm-hmm.
Too many times we stood with people, and when the rocks came, well, me and Damon the only ones getting hit. I'm looking at the person who fighting us. Where they at? Where they go? Where they at? Or you make a deal with the person, we're coming to hold their feet to the fire an hour before the meeting, and then punk out when you was the one that called for the meeting.
Mm-hmm.
But we're not just talking about the stuff Damon was talking about. Martin Luther King had to deal with that with black preachers.
What? I have to deal with that with black preachers today. So what's the difference?
No, but I'm saying even when we talk about Martin Luther King,
some of them ain't changed. Look, and then some of them are old enough that they probably dealt with Martin Luther King and then did the same thing to me. What did I expect?
Mic drop. Yeah, that was like,
you know what I'm saying?
No doubt.
You know,
you're so right. Don't get me started. Nah, get started, sister. It's time to get started.
Listen, that's the God honest truth.
Nah, you ain't lying.
That's the God honest truth.
You ain't lying.
So I mean, listen, look, it's either you gonna stand on it or you're not gonna be on it, man. And and that's my whole thing at this point, because nobody's guaranteed.
Know what you're talking about. If you are gonna stand with it, know what you were talking about. There's too many of y'all get out there and don't even have your facts straight and don't know what it is you're talking about. And it's easy to sway you and make you look a different way because you don't have what you need to back up what you're saying. Know a little bit about what you're talking about, or get some people around you who at least know what they know about it, so that you can make your point and you don't come off.
Be open to communicate. Communication takes two people, two lenses that are being shared. We can agree to disagree if we are moving towards the same cause, right? You don't have to look like me. You don't have to be a part of my party, right? But if we are fighting for the same thing, we should be able to stand as one. And that is what's missing. I don't understand what he's saying, and he's a part of that party. So I ain't even going to take the time to understand. I'm just going to fight. I'm just going to clap back. I'm just going to bark.
But you stand with people in your party, in your group, that you don't know what the hell they talking about either. Like, so, but you stand by them, though. Like,
right.
Listen, we gotta understand
mentality, Bloods and Crips mentality. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Black, and my book is coming out too. My book is coming out, the original gangbanging Democrats and Republicans. They gangbang too. They gangbanging right now. They gangbanging. Hopefully, God willing, I'll have prints by the NAACP meeting.
Oh yes, yes. I need to purchase mine. Thank you, sir.
We really got to understand, that, just like the Supreme Court ruling, the recent Supreme Court ruling, right, on gerrymandering, right? Everybody said, "Oh man, it's racist, right?" The Supreme Court ruling on gerrymandering wasn't about race. It was about parties. Black people are affected by it more than any other because we're majority in one party. So the Supreme Court position isn't about race. Just because we're in one party, that's whose fault is that? Whose fault is that? So when they make decisions based on political parties, yes, we are affected by it, but whose fault is that we're all in the 90% of black folks, 95, 96 are in one party.
That's why I don't.
Now, I'm not saying running over to the Republican Party. That's not for all y'all that's going to get triggered. I'm not saying that. I'm saying this ruling, it shows black people have to change how they deal with partisan parties. Because that ruling is going to be the basis on how they draw lines. They've been doing it anyway, but how they draw lines moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
I just read an article about how independents is the minority now. Independents are the minority. Independents are bigger. The people that have left both parties and join and become independents, that group of people is bigger than the Democratic or the Republican Party. Yeah. They are the minority. I mean, the majority right now.
Well, yeah. Well, they always been the swing vote on the national election.
Yeah.
And that's why the rule of thumb used to be, I don't know what happened now. The rule of thumb is when you're running for a primary, you go far left or far right. If the Republicans, you go far right. But then when after the primary, I'm speaking mostly presidential election because the whole independent comes through on a national election. When you come back in the middle. That's why if you watch Obama, if you watch Clinton, they were in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
Right? If you played Obama's videos on immigration, you would have thought he was a Republican today. Straight music. Not to add to the fact that he deported more people than any other president. Ain't nobody got nothing to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
You could watch Hillary Clinton. You would have thought she was a Republican on immigration because they came to the middle. Now there's no middle. There is no middle. It's either you're on this side or you're on that side. And if you disagree with one or the other side, then you ain't even part of the thing, and that's why more people just don't vote.
Mm-hmm.
They don't vote. So you're going to get a lot of people in the midterms that probably won't vote because of what's going on. They're just disgusted from both sides.
The party in chief, that's what they call him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Well, I'm doing a video. They said we got to do how he did it. But if you look at the first videos of Tom Homan, and also Tom Homan got an award. The same Tom Homan, that's the pardon czar, got an award from President Obama for doing the deportation job under President Obama. Same Tom Homan. So if you look at the early videos when Tom Homan was deported, was made border czar. The policies that he talked was the same policies under Obama. Let us go into the jails.
Mm-hmm.
Just let us in the jails. We'll pick them up from the jails. So what did I hate to say it, what did the Democrat people do? Nope, we're not working with you. We're not doing it. I worked in the jails under Obama. Every Thursday, ICE used to come and pick up 20 or 30. So if you don't let them in the jails where the bad guys are, with the ones that have the warrants, what do they got to do now? They have to get the civil and judicial warrants and go on the street. It's yo, dude. Like it is what it is. I'm not co-signing on what they're doing out there, but they have the right to do it under federal law. So why don't you, if you were really about keeping your community safe, do what you was doing before. When you pull over somebody and you run their license plate and it comes up on the ICE hold, the police officers used to call ICE. Take them to the local police department or up to the jail, and ICE used to come pick them up. We used to have contracts with the federal government to hold them. Where you think all my overtime came from under Obama? Because we had nothing but migrants being locked up there. We damn near had more migrants than we had local people being held there. These are facts. Under Barack Obama.
The county jail, they lost a federal contract now, right? Or did they get it back?
No, they don't want it. They don't want it because they don't want to work with Trump.
But didn't they lose it before Trump? Didn't they lose it before Trump?
No, they gave it up because they ain't trained their officers correctly to even know how to run a goddamn block anymore. So if you're dealing with federal inmates, good luck. That's a whole nother story I might talk about one day.
No,
but
I do, before we go, I did want to shout out one more person. I did want to highlight one more person. So Muhammad Ali's birthday was yesterday. And that's another brother that I definitely wanted to support because of the sacrifice he made because of what he believed. And the article I wrote calls out that what superstar athlete, I'm saying, and listen to my words, superstar athlete at the top of their game would risk it all for what they believe to the point of even going to risking jail. Like Muhammad Ali, like people use people like when I wrote it, people was hitting me, Damon, what about Colin Kaepernick? Yes, he spoke up, and yes, it ended his NFL career. But he made so much money on Nike and all this other stuff after the fact that it was crazy.
Did he sue?
Wait. And it wasn't like he won the Super Bowl and they took his championship away. They took Ali's belts away and his right to box and be licensed. That's not the same thing. You understand? And we stood with Cap. We went down. Hell, we was down there. We was you can see the pictures. I stand with Cap. We was down there with Serpico, the cop from Serpico. We was down there, me and David. We stood with Cap. But it's not the same thing. And then people talk about, white people bring up Pat Tillman. What Pat Tillman did was admirable, and he retired from the NFL, and he went to fight in Afghanistan, and then he ended up dying. But that's not the same thing, and no disrespect to Pat Tillman, he also wasn't a superstar athlete at the time. Like, he was a good athlete, but he wasn't a superstar, and he didn't risk. That was a choice he made. You understand what I'm saying? But who, like, and keeping it 100, they told Muhammad Ali if he denounced the Nation of Islam, they would give him his license back. And the Nation of Islam devoured him because of the things he was saying. He still did not denounce the Nation of Islam, and he still stood 10 toes down. Like, all he had to do was call them out and be like, yo, whatever they wanted him to say about them, and he would have got his license back, and he could have continued fighting. He gave up the best 3 years. He gave up the prime of his career not being able to fight, not being able to make money. You understand what I'm saying? He got licensed to fight. He got stripped of his belts. He won. He won all those belts. He got stripped of them. Everybody who was a champ after that got some belts that they didn't beat him. They got taken from him. You're not the champ unless you got to beat the champ to be the champ. You know what I'm saying?
And he went back and got them all back.
He went back and got him back again. Like, yo, so I just wanted to shout him out because I had another article I wrote. Ali was the greatest, not necessarily for only what he did in the ring, but all the things outside the ring. Then there was the time when he met with, under Carter, where he met with Saddam Hussein and got hostages released when the government couldn't. And then He went back again in Iran and got Iran. I forgot who the president was then, and got hostages released when the government couldn't. He went over there and got hostages released. Like this man, he what he stood for. I don't see athletes with that, and you know, people talk about LeBron James and them wearing the shirts. I can't breathe. Yes, wearing a shirt. They didn't risk nothing. You get what I'm saying? And them shirts were being sold. You know what I'm saying? And money was made off them shirts. Like there was a branding thing. Like, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't putting everything on the line. It wasn't like if he kept speaking, they were gonna take all his championships away from him and make him not play basketball no more. So there is no athlete to this day since then that would risk it all for whatever they believe, for something they believe in. And I wanted to celebrate him for that because, you know, yeah, he was a bad man. He might have been one of the baddest to lace up a pair of boxing gloves. Yo, word up. But he was so much more. And I believe yesterday would have been his 97th birthday. I believe it was something like 97 or something like that. You got to read the article because it's in the article. So I definitely wanted to shout him out because his birthday was yesterday. And we have to celebrate our heroes, those who held it down. He also was very unapologetic. He didn't care what you said. And I quote him all the time. I tell people, they were like, yo, you don't do it like so-and-so. Muhammad Ali, they asked Muhammad Ali, was he going to be the champ like Joe Louis? He said, I'm going to be the champ, but I'm not going to be the champ like him. I'm not even going to be the champ you want me, the way you want me to be. I'm going to do it the way I feel like, the way I'm free to do it the way I want to do it. Like, I don't have to do it the way you want me to do it just because, you know how many people tell me and Damon, especially me, because they're scared to talk to Damon, I guess. They'd be like, yo, you know, as the black media in the area, you should be doing it this way. Why don't you start one and do it that way? We've been 10 toes down 11 years. We made a lot of mistakes, but we did a whole lot of good for a whole lot of people. Told a whole lot of stories that never would have got told. Fought with a lot of people who had nobody to fight with them. Helped a wrongfully incarcerated man get exonerated and out of jail. Like, I mean, Damon's done his 30 years of all the work he's doing. He can tell you himself. He's already told you that. Like, yo, we don't have to do it the way you say we have to do it. And that's one of the things that I loved about Ali. And also, he had this quote that they read on his at his memorial, and I put it on my in my intro on Facebook. I am the disturbance in your sea of complacency, and I will never stop shaking your waves. That's Muhammad Ali. I got that from him, and I put that so right on my Facebook in the intro, right at the top when you first go to my page. I believe that. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're supposed to be doing. I ain't never supposed to make it comfortable for y'all. I ain't never gonna stop. We never gonna stop. We're not gonna stop. This is what we do. This is what we're supposed to do. We charged to do. This is the work we were supposed to do, and somebody has to do it. But a lot of people, what a little flood. And what he did with MLB cost him. I'm Kurt Flood. Okay, so that is different. That is different. Good evening, Pat White. Shout out to Pat White. Pat White. Is
Pat, what's happening, Pat?
What's going on, Pat?
Pat White is somebody who had boots on the ground for years. She has been putting in work. If you don't know Pat White, you need to know who she is because she's been putting in work. She's one of the unsung heroes in our community that you see everywhere, and she's been putting in the work, and she'll be behind the scenes. And who was sounding like Ali now? That's what that is. Yo, so I'm to shout out Pat because Pat be about that business, and there's some people that be standing 10 toes down and holding it down. We need to highlight them, and we need to support them, and we need to surround them because you know this work ain't easy. You get criticized. It ain't a friend-making endeavor. You know what I'm saying? Larnez starting to feel a little bit of heat, but as she get more and more, they'd be like, "Oh, that AJ and Damon you be associating with." Like, yo, people used to tell me in the beginning, "Yo, AJ, I love what you're doing, but you need to watch the company you keep."
Blacks and law enforcement.
Damon, they've been trying to get at you.
Ernie and Reggie.
Every time I talk to people.
Ernie and Reggie pulled me to the side and said that to me in front of City Hall one day, like early on. Yo, what you doing is good, but you got to watch the company you keep.
They told me I need
Yo,
to do
man, they were
research
just a
on-
bunch.
told me I
Yo,
need to
they
do
was just a
research
bunch
on
of
you, Damon.
haters.
Wait. Let me tell you
David,
what
they
the
told me I need to do research on you. I said, I know the co-hosts that I co-host people before politics with. So unless you quoting something directly where I could go right to it, yeah, I'm good.
They told her she need to know a little bit more about us before she associate with us.
Really?
She need to do her homework. Yep.
And
You
shut
know,
them
you know,
shut them all the way down. And shut them all the way down. That they will at the end of the conversation, they were like, well, I'm gonna tune in. I'm definitely gonna tune in.
See,
Definitely
and that's
do.
you know what, and that's so sad, man. That you got Negroes, mostly black folks, you know, and they was no, man, like who, like how do you get to that point? You know, I'm still trying to figure it out because
Self-hate.
it's no way that you can't be a man or a woman, but especially a man, and be scared. Like I didn't come up in those days.
My thing is, who sent you? Because I'm just meeting these people in the street, and this is the first thing you start talking to me about. Why you want to save me? You don't know me. You ain't do your research on me. So my first thing is, who sent you?
Exactly.
Trying to plant.
Exactly.
We had people, one of our co-hosts, somebody said they would pay the money to get her own podcast to get her off our show. They were going to Spezio was going to finance Lorraine's show to get her off our show. Like,
Spezio boy. Listen, man, like he ain't never, like Spezio ain't never met black people that stood up to him and didn't want his money.
Yeah.
Once you say, man, I want your money, you was a threat to Spezio, because that's the only way Spezio had power over these Negroes and politicians, because of his money.
I had people in the police department.
I told them, I don't need your money. I don't need your money to take over the Independence Party. If Doc is willing to give it to me, he will give it to me. I don't need your money for anything else. I could retire and have my pension and chill like I'm doing now. Right? So when someone doesn't have the money power over you, you become a threat. You definitely become a threat. So, you know, and that's and I mean, that's why a lot of people don't like me, because you can't buy me with no money. Now, I did say, I don't think I told AJ this. I did say, and I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it publicly, right? I told somebody this yesterday or the day before. If I would have known that so many Negroes and Negrettes have no backbone, I would have sold y'all niggas out 30 years ago. And be rich. I had the opportunities to be rich, to be the next thing popping. Instead of standing on integrity and character, I could have sold y'all Negroes out a long time ago. Maybe had my own radio show, maybe been on MSNBC or something, but the connections were there. But I didn't want to do that. But because I thought people were going to come along. Black folks ain't come along. We lost in that. We even more confused now because of social media than we were before. of what the fight is and what we need to be doing.
We still surviving.
Exactly.
And we don't even look at our survival strategies as assets, and we should. Right.
Exactly.
And if I don't look at them as assets, I can't even articulate my value in the space. So why would you want me there?
Right. We give the national DNC over 90% of the vote. But when it comes to the money they spend on campaigns, 90% goes to white people.
Mm. So how do we shift that?
Stop voting for them. Like, yo, listen. No.
That's it?
Listen, no,
Stop
real
voting
talk.
for them?
No, wait,
Stop
real
voting.
talk. Wait, real talk. No, that's not real talk. Just think about logically. If you had a group of people who were going to be loyal and rock with you no matter what, you didn't do nothing for them. You gave them a couple of promises, but they're always going to hit the lever for you. Why do you have to go out of your way to do it? You got them votes. You ain't got to work for them votes.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
Other people you got to work for, those are the people. You know what I'm saying? You got to work for those votes. Like, why do something for you? You gonna vote for me anyway. Why do I have to go all out? It's gonna be harder for me to do the things you want me to do anyway. So why go through all that? You gonna vote for me anyway.
Mm.
But see, we don't even understand that there's
go ahead, I'm sorry.
That there's a financial component in politics. Kamala Harris spent $2 billion on her campaign.
Mm-hmm.
How many black consultants got some of that money? Other than they say Al Sharpton and Roland Martin, Oprah Winfrey, right? But how many grassroots black consultants and organizations that were out there getting money for that?
How much black media did she advertise in?
Exactly, probably none.
No, I'm not gonna say none because I don't know that, but very little. But I'm not sure she did. She wasn't heavy in black publications, especially grassroots publications.
Well, yeah, probably none. Just like I said, probably none. So, and then when you look at the state, how do they do it with the state? We give over 95% of our vote to the Democratic Party. How much money do they raise? Right? So they spent $20 million on George Lattimore. How many of that? And black people ran to vote for him. How much of that money went to black consultants? That was outside of Lattimore's circle.
We allow people to come.
That's a good question. I need to start asking that question to candidates. That's a beautiful question.
Mount Vernon was a Democratic stronghold. So when Hillary Clinton was running for senator and all that stuff, she had to come to Mount Vernon. But we didn't ask her for the things, those the power that had the power, didn't ask her for the things we needed. We were so happy to be cheesing and taking photo ops with her as she came through the city and walking her around and giving her support. We allowed Holcomb to come through Mount Vernon twice, come through, shake hands, take photo ops, but she really ain't had Mount Vernon's back. She's given, to say she's gave no money to Mount Vernon would be a lie. There's been small things given. There's been things given, but she
only around election time.
She hasn't had she needed the votes from down here, but we allow people to come here, and we don't say, "What are you going to do for me? What are you going to do for my vote? Why should we vote for you?" We just give our vote away, and then we ask people what they're going to do for us afterwards. You done voted already. Ain't got to do nothing for another 4 years.
Exactly. Exactly.
Every other group of people, they got to sit down and be like, "What are you going to do for us? Here is our list of what we need."
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a conversation. But Mount Vernon, you come through, you take some pictures, you shake some hands, you show up at the party, you bring a proclamation You say the good words, you say some pretty words, and you always have the happy Negroes who walk you around and take pictures, and they put you all over social media because they was with you. You know how many people I know? Mm-hmm. Seriously, no doubt. And I'm not gonna call names because I'm cool with some of these people. Show me pictures of them with Hillary when she came to the Democratic office. They proud of that picture.
But and she ain't do a goddamn thing for black.
What did you like? You just gave away your vote. Like, I mean, yeah, I understand but we have to ask for every other group of ask for what they make you earn their vote. We give ours away.
What ethnic group stands with a politician that basically said that their children were predators?
Super predators.
Super predator.
That was the word, super predators.
A super predator. Like I don't understand how we forgot all the videos that Joe Biden said about our children.
Wait, and pull hot sauce out the pocketbook. Like, yeah, I keep my hot sauce. Like that was supposed to be. Or
Joe Biden. How did we forget that? How did we try to dismiss what black people were saying about Kamala Harris when she was state AG? And when the presidential debate came up, she had no response for Kelsey Gabbard when she called her out on it. How do we forget?
None.
I didn't forget. And that's why me and my son, I'm still waiting on the videotape. Chris Lattimore went at it about it.
Oh yeah, I'm so happy to see that. I'm just dying to see that.
They're not going to let it out. Not now that Mason got a little position with man dammy.
Well, I saw an interview with Mason and they was asking him if he supports LGBT.
And he danced around it.
And he danced around it, and the gentleman served him up. Basically, what the meaning is, and it was amazing. It was amazing.
This was Mason.
Nothing to say.
Circus, Afro circus, Afro circus, Afro, poke it up, Afro.
Mason when he got asked that question about the LGBTQ.
The worst thing in the world they did is give his brother some sound effects. They should have never let him do some sound effects.
Yeah.
But you know what? So but then when you do have a good black person that represents your needs, we got demands of him that we don't got for like the white people. Like we got people like, don't get me wrong, Jamal Bowman put his foot in his mouth a few times.
A few times. Yeah. He walked around with a foot on a chain around his neck,
and he was famous for fumbling the ball on the 5-yard line. But what I saw black people was asking of him and demanding answers from him that they didn't ask of Engel, and they didn't ask of Nia Lowy, and they didn't ask of none of these other white politicians that have been in their office. We want to ask the black. Why are we not asking the white politicians? Because we scared? Because they white? Why are we not holding them to account?
Culture competency. They don't believe that they gonna understand. It's kind of like that Sunday morning, and you know what it smells like for people to be hot combing their kitchens in the kitchen, right? White folk don't know what that smell is, so you can't relate.
Exactly.
You can't.
Exactly. You have to have the conversation. Like, we don't have those conversations with white people. Plus, I just wrote an article, liberal supremacy, white supremacy. What's the difference? There's none. Right? There's none. Especially if you don't have your own agenda. Black people do not have a political agenda. Whether it's local in the city, or whether it's countywide, statewide, or nationally. We're the only ethnic group without a political agenda.
Well, we still trying to identify who we are.
We identify with white supremacist liberalism.
That's true.
That's what we identify with.
A bunch of Negro people.
Do you see any Asians out there in Minnesota marching? you would barely see an Asian.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You barely see an Asian.
They focus their energy in different ways.
Exactly.
Well, I said it last week. I'll say it one more time because we about to come to the close of the show soon. Black people, if you got a white friend that asks you to come out with them, stay your ass home. This ain't our fight. Let's stop getting dragged into other people's stuff.
Exactly.
What's going on right now is white on white crime. Let it play out.
Exactly.
Because if you bring your black ass out there, you the one gonna get the bullet in the ass.
Listen, I'm not defending anything illegal. There's a process.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And that process has to be worked out. But our leadership has to work it out in a civilized manner. If one side pushes, the other side is going to push back, and then it creates chaos. And then, the end of the chaos, is what we saw. What we saw with the shooting. Don't follow ICE around.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you following ICE all around? There's just a video up. ICE got out the car. The lady's recording him. He's like, man, we got a warrant here for a sex offender, and you're following us around.
See, there's a difference. Now I'm not walking up to nobody with a gun that got the legal right to shoot me like that. Like that don't like me. I'm not walking up to you to antagonize you. I do film things from a safe distance because I'm legally allowed to. But from a safe distance, I'm not in your face. I'm not saying, "Hey, I'm here following you around. I'm going to record you everything you do." Like our buddy did, and he ended up in the back seat, slammed to the ground in the back seat of a police car, and in the Mount Vernon City jail for a couple hours, and they released him.
Exactly.
I'm not doing all that.
Listen,
I'm still, and these cameras, they got great zoom. You ain't got to be real,
dude. Why are you pulling on the handles of an ICE vehicle? Let me tell you something. I'm just being straight honest. Damon K. Jones. If I was the ICE agent and you pulled on my door, it's going to open up and you're going to get shot.
Mm-hmm.
The people can get upset about it all you want. And I'm all for police accountability. You pull on my door, I'm going to shoot you because you're crossing boundaries you shouldn't even cross as a civilian. You don't pull. Listen, if you pull on my door now and I have a gun, I will shoot you. I'm applying for my pistol permit too. So don't walk up on me pulling on my car door because you might get shot in the kneecap. I might not hit you here. You don't like you don't even do that to a normal person in a state that has firearm carrying privileges. You don't do that to a normal person. Why would you do it to a federal agent?
Do it in the hood.
Yeah, well, you won't even do it to it in the hood.
Yeah. It's going to be a whole problem.
If you don't get shot, you're going to get your behind beat. Like some of these things that I'm seeing, it's what nobody's saying don't do it. And now they're beating up police. And now
I'm telling black people, sit this shit out. I'm very clear. This is not us out there. Sit this shit out. This is white on white crime. Let this shit play out. Do not let them co-opt you into this situation because once you get caught up in there, they're not gonna have your back. So don't let this is their fight. Let them white privilege that think they can do whatever and say whatever the cops and all that stuff that we would get killed for and do all that stuff. Let them do that. Stay the hell out of it. I don't know how to be any clearer. Like straight up. Stay the hell. That's not our fight. Ain't no sense in us not going home to our families because of some bullshit they doing. I'm keeping it real. And I like real talk. Let that play out. It is white on white crime. Let it play out. They don't come when it's black on black crime, as they put it. They don't intervene. They sit there and let it play out. Let them. That's what they do, right?
Listen.
Learn from them and do the same thing.
Listen, what we used to do as CEOs, we see a fight, we'll watch it. I'm not breaking up no fight while they full of gas. Wait till they get tired.
Yep.
Yo,
Facts.
when I was doing shows, when I was doing club promotions for Sammy, this is when I learned that an establishment is not responsible for anything that happens outside of 10 feet. So the police, what they did is, so long story short, this was a perfect storm. One of the towns, Yonkers, went to one of the other towns to beat somebody up, and the New Rochelle was there, and the Bronx was there, and they all came to this party. So basically, there was a big brawl outside in the street. The cops, the New Rochelle Police Department, counted out 10 feet or whatever it was, and they made a barrier. They let all these Negroes kill themselves. They swept up the losers and arrested the winners. And like that was just like
Exactly.
And the club the club was not responsible for anything that happened outside of 10 feet of the club.
Leave it alone. Leave it alone. Black people, just leave it alone. Focus on, and I put up a post. I said, all this is going on. Black children still can't read. How about that one? And then you got Negroes on my post talking about, oh, that's not true, until Ralph Burtz made the comment. Who's an educator?
They're not looking at the stats. Where you looking at the stats at? That's true.
No, because we in a we're in my truth. This is a my truth era.
I don't think I'm going to make it this year, Pat.
No, I won't be there neither.
I don't think I'm going to make this one this year. I'm working on, still trying to finish the paper. I'm working on getting the paper out and a bunch of other stuff. I don't think I'm going to be there. But shout out to the African American men of Westchester. They're strong advertisers, and I think they advertised that event 1 month.
Yeah, they do it every year. And on the 26th, since we're talking about African American Advisory Board is doing an asthma forum in Yonkers at the Yonkers Public Library on January 26th at 6 p.m. I think it's very informative for people that are in Yonkers. These areas in the Black communities, we have high risk of asthma. And big shout out to the African American Advisory Board. I think they're going to come on the show next Sunday and have the discussion on why they're having these forums on the African American Advisory, these asthma forums, which is very important. And the work of the African American Advisory Board with King Jenkins, because they are directly connected to the county exec, which is now King Jenkins, to address issues in the Black community and gain information and give the county. Yep, that's it. Give the county exec recommendations on what he needs to do, to address a lot of issues, So we just hope that the city has a plan. After recommendations, plans are made to address some of the issues. Especially in Black communities. You know what I'm saying? I think that's very important.
This we got to make sure we check out next month.
Oh yeah, February 23rd. Yep, I'm going to be there, and we're going to talk about how they survive police confrontation. We also going to discuss is ICE.
Oh, sorry, I hit the wrong button. My bad. That's me. I'm sorry.
Oh, I thought that was me. Is ICE illegitimate? I think we really need to have that conversation, because a lot of people, if you run around thinking a police department or a law enforcement agency is illegitimate and you do dumb shit and you end up dead or locked up, it's because you got bad information.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's say you believe that they're illegitimate. On the street is not the time to fight that.
Well, I'm hoping this event.
Even if the cops are violating your rights, on the street right there and there is not the time to fight. That is the time to get shot, not go home. If you
but you know what's sad? It's the politicians that's giving bad information. That's the biggest problem. It's the politicians that's giving bad information. So when they're telling people that ICE is illegitimate, oh yeah, and you got the Kenneth Chamberlain screening February 4th, Tillman Auditorium, Vanderbilt Hall, NYU School of Law. That's going to be dope. That's going to be dope.
Go register. The link on the bottom.
These law students need to know about that.
Yo, David.
I'm hoping the event that we have on the 23rd, some elected officials come in the room, so maybe we can talk about legislation. Maybe we could talk about bills and policies to negate what ICE is doing in our community.
Wait.
You can't.
Yonkers City Council. I have all of your cell phones and email addresses. I will personally send you an invite. I will send you the flyer. I will personally send it to you. I not only email it to you, I got a lot of your phone numbers. I'm going to text it to you too. So you'll know about it. And y'all are the legislative body of Yonkers. So y'all will know.
And be a part of the discussion, right?
Right.
Be a part of the discussion.
So I'm going to say something. You will have to. It will have to be an act of Congress.
Oh, federal, yes, federal.
Because these are federal agents. They're not state. They're not county.
No, but she was talking about police confrontation. That's local. But what she was talking about.
Oh, you talking about police confrontation?
Yeah. That's local. She talking about police confrontation with your thing. So that's local.
Well, first of all, first of all, we have to learn to control ourselves.
Absolutely.
We have to learn to control ourselves. And we also have to treat I'm giving y'all a little short synopsis, which I'll talk about. You got to treat officers each officer like they had the worst day in their life last night. Because you never know the mindset of the officer that you're dealing with. So if the officer might got caught cheating on his wife last night. He might just got kicked out and he's living on his mother's couch. He got problems. He might be dealing with a wife that he just has no power. So the only power he has is when he put on that uniform and he come out every day. Right? And he ultimately have the power at the end of the day because the state gives him the right to take your life. And as law enforcement officers, they are well trained to justify their actions. So the goal is to get home safe. If he asks you to do something, just do it. People get mad at me with Sandra Bland. And I say all the time, why did she just put the cigarette out? Why was the cigarette the most biggest her civil rights fight? Just put it out. Give him his stuff. And maybe she would have went home. And whatever happened after he arrested her would have never happened.
Well, she would have got because she put the cigarette out. She'd have got a ticket and kept going on her way.
And that's my point. Do not be Martin Luther King Jr. when you get pulled over by the police. You laughing, but it's true.
No, we want to fight for our rights. I get in there, and that's not the time. Can I say something, Damon? And this is not from a law enforcement. This is from a regular perspective. One of the things I've learned from doing all these shows and a lot with Damon and blacks in law enforcement and being around a lot of law enforcement. And I did not know this as a civilian early on. When you get pulled over, the first 10, 15 seconds or whatever, a cop does not know what they're walking up on.
Mm-hmm.
So it is your responsibility, regardless if you want, to let them know, hands at, 10 and 2, the light on and thing. You are not a problem. you know what I'm saying? You're still gonna have some asshole cops that are still gonna test you or whatever. But for a lot of the cops, that diffuses the whole thing because now they know whatever the situation is, they're gonna give you a ticket, whatever, they're gonna say whatever, you're gonna say whatever, you're gonna drive off. But they don't know that you didn't just come from armed robbery or you just didn't do whatever and you just not going back to jail or something like that. They don't know that you're not that person in that car when they pull you over. So they have to go to they have to be on. And when it was explained to me, that made sense. That's something as a civilian I never thought. But as a civilian, I never thought about that.
Chris Lattimore called me and he said, when they had the surge down in DC, he said, man, they asked my man, did he have guns in the car? So I said, and what did he say? He said no. I said, okay, so what's the problem? He said, well, he had his kids in the car. He said, and I asked him, I said, you really think these cops ain't never arrest a man with guns in the car that had the kids in the car at the same time? Mm-hmm. Are you serious? Yeah, but he's this and he's that. I said, the cop don't know who he is. His status and who he is. He don't know none of that. He don't know that he has a triple doctorate. He don't know none of that. Look, if you got a cop doing his job, he's going to ask you those questions for the protection of himself and the community, and you answer it, and you keep it moving. Let me tell you, I'm nervous with cops even when I have my uniform on going back and forth to work. Because I never know. It's not what's in my mind. I don't know what's in his mind. And I'm going to keep saying that. And you don't know what the dude is, what's wrong with this cop. And let me tell you, living up here, I got pulled over by some retarded state troopers. My daughter had an accident right here, Wallkill Police Department. And this guy was a FTO, a field training officer. That means it's his job to take the rookie cops out and show them how to be a cop. And when I got finished with him and the supervisor, because I had to have the supervisor come to the scene, I told the supervisor, you need to take that field training officer patch off because he's going to create bad habits in these new cops. If he could lie about a little traffic incident, he could lie about use of force and use of deadly force. Mm-hmm. I said, he should not be training anyone. And I said it to the supervisor and I said it in that cop's face.
The dude with, I'm going to say this in a mouth, the dude with his knee on his neck of who was it? George Floyd. He was the field training officer too. He was the training officer. So,
exactly.
I got a Zoom call. I got a Zoom call, so I got to bounce soon.
Yeah, we over, man. So everybody, thanks for watching.
See y'all next week.
Next week we're gonna have the African American Advisory Board and Derek Williams is coming on to talk about the meeting on the 28th at the
Officer Derek Williams. Okay.
Yeah, Officer Derek Williams, Mount Vernon Police Department. Talk about the meeting on the 28th, and we're gonna move forward from there. So we out of here. God bless everybody. Stay safe, stay blessed, and stay blacktastic. Peace out.
Are you ready to put your brand in front of the people who matter? Black Westchester Magazine is your platform. With over 90,000 monthly website readers and more than 250,000 YouTube viewers every month, we give your business unmatched exposure. From email blasts straight to our subscribers, to video commercials, website promotions, and targeted campaigns, we've got the tools to help you connect, engage, and grow. Whether you're a local business, a national brand, a rising entrepreneur, or just promoting an upcoming event, Black Westchester is where culture, community, and commerce meet. Contact us today or scan the QR code and start building with us. Don't just advertise, be part of the movement, be part of Black Westchester, Be Blacktastic. Black America first. Yeah, Black America first. This Valentine's Day, make it sweet with Cupcake Cutie Boutique. They're serving fresh, hand-dipped chocolate-covered strawberries, perfect for date night, gifts, or a treat for yourself. For a limited time, order through DoorDash, Uber Eats, or Grubhub, and get 20% off our chocolate-covered strawberries. Love should taste this good. But don't wait, this Valentine's Day deal won't last long. If you've been thinking about investing but didn't know where to start, this is your sign. Presented by Black Westchester Magazine and Noir Network, the Ownership Society is a community of like-minded people focused on building generational wealth 1 month at a time. No hype, no gambling, just disciplined investing, shared learning, and real ownership. Whether you start with $20 or $100, the key is consistency. Scan the QR code or click the link in the conversation to join us, download Robinhood, and take your first step toward owning your future. Thank you for watching another Blacktastic episode of the People Before Politics show. Sunday Rundown, powered by Black Westchester Magazine. We appreciate every single one of you who tuned in, commented, shared the stream, and joined the conversation. Your support is the reason independent Black media continues to thrive and speak truth without fear. Every week, we show up to bring clarity, accountability, and real community insight to the stories that matter. And you show up with us. Whether you're watching on YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, or X, we want you to know that your voice, your engagement, and your presence make this platform stronger. Thank you for rocking with Damon K. Jones, AJ Woodson, and Larnez Kinsey as we break down the issues that many outlets ignore. And thank you for supporting a space where Black thought, Black leadership, and Black truth-telling still matter.